Cliff Mitchell, ex-Met PC, found guilty of multiple counts of... You're going to have to bear with me on this video, ladies and gentlemen, because as we know from today's AI-generated image scandal, I'll briefly touch on it, but I won't go on about it because I'll be here all day. But we now know via incontrovertible proof that all of the big social media platforms, bar one, and all of Silicon Valley are expressly set against people like me. You can't use the R word. The despot of Antrim, my old pal, told me that, and he bleeps out of all of his videos. So I'm not going to use the R word. I've coined another term for it. I shall instead be referring to it as cunning bumming. Right? If you can't guess what that is, you probably can't operate a laptop computer. Also good is a struggle snuggle or surprise sex. So we'll just use those three idioms for this video. And secondly, I can't actually show you a picture of the offender, but never let it be said that bootnecks are not computer savvy, because using the miracle of modern technology, I have created an e-fit that looks just like the offender, but is slightly changed to a demographic that Silicon Valley don't mind you mocking, demeaning, or accurately reporting on their nefarious crimes. Okay? So, Cliff Mitchell, using the height of modern technology, I have created an e-fit of this criminal sex offender. Are you ready? There we go. At this rate, I am going to end up working for Pixar. Clearly. Right then, to the story at hand. You will notice that the mainstream media barely talked about this. I only heard about it watching a very small YouTube channel who sort of digs the news up that nobody else talks about. So this was buried. I had to go digging through the BBC website to try and find this bad boy. And you can guess why. Let's read the story, shall we? Cliff Mitchell, ex-Met PC, found guilty of multiple counts of cunning bumming. A former Metropolitan police officer has been convicted of 10 counts of surprise sex, including 3 of cunningly bumming a child under the age of 13. Cliff Mitchell, a detestable 24-year-old ginger, was found guilty of 1 count of kidnap after tying up a victim, threatening her with a knife, putting tape over her mouth and forcing her into his car. These dastardly ginners, their foul crimes know no bounds. I fully support Disney and Silicon Valley's attempts to eradicate them from history and replace them with different people that definitely don't commit any crimes and definitely are not wildly overrepresented in prisons and murder rates. Oh, which... I said I wasn't going to bounce around too much, but let me just show you this clip, because this woman really does have the intellectual capacity of a Dairy Lee slice. Look at this. I couldn't sit through the entire interview. I couldn't. I tried. I managed about 10 minutes. But here's a snippet, courtesy of my old pal No Chance.
White people are overrepresented in prisons.
No, they're underrepresented.
I don't know. That's not true, Carl.
It is absolutely
None
true.
of this is true.
No, it's
you are
absolutely
just making
true.
up things.
I'm not
This
making up
is not
anything.
true. Are you
Why would I make it up?
Are you saying our prisons are actually a majority black and brown people?
Why does it have to be majority?
No.
Why does it have to be majority?
But then what is it then?
Well, it's something like 30% black. But
Right, okay, so then it's not. So therefore it's still more white people.
Yeah, but this is per
Obviously.
capita. But out of a population of 3% black, if the prison population is 30% black, it should be 3% black to be accurately represented, right?
You said it's 30%. I need to see that. I don't believe that at all.
Well,
I don't believe that at all.
That's fantastic, that, isn't it? Honestly, I wouldn't have needed that explaining to me when I was 8 years old. That is how thick everybody's favourite Punjabi Geordie is. I do not understand how you can be that dense when you're a grown-up. And you can see the smile on her face the whole time. She thinks she's got him. You can see by looking at her. Look at her face there. Triumphal grin. She actually thinks, oh my God, he said something stupid there. I've got him. She has got a head full of horse shit. Anyway, I'm ranting. Let's get back to the story at hand. Mitchell of Wandsworth, southwest London. Is he really though? Is he really from southwest London? Like the Geordie acid attacker? He was definitely a Geordie, wasn't he? And he definitely didn't move over to the UK within the last 10 years. No. Why, he's as Geordie as Jimmy Nail, him like. He was sacked by the force in 2023, but only after he donkeyed one into a few kids. Weird that, innit? One, might I suggest you sack them before they do the donkeying? Just a thought. A jury found him guilty of 10 counts of surprise sex, 3 counts of cunning bumming with a child, 1 count of kidnap, and a breach of a non-molestation order. What's a non-molestation order? Do they catch people diddling kids and say, whoa, I've done a bit of molesting there. Charlie Chester, the child molester. You've done a bit of diddling there, Charlie. I'll tell you what, let's not punish him or, jail him and make him break rocks for the next 30 years, which would be the Bootneck's preferred option. Let's just have Charles fill out a non-molestation order and he'll write a letter promising he's not going to diddle anyone ever again. That'll work. The Met said Mitchell had previously been subject to a Snuggle investigation in 2017, which resulted in no further action. Yeah, and they recruited him anyway. Do you know why they recruited him? I'll just put it out there. Because when you have DEI hiring policies and you say 50% of the force has to look a certain way, you take anybody who comes across your desk. It's a mathematical necessity. They're doing this in places where the population is like 96% pasty Northern European like me, and they're still saying, we need to have 25% of the force come from a different background, and they don't even have the numbers. So everybody needs to take the job. You can walk in some parts of the UK with these hiring policies. You could walk in there with a string of sex offences on your criminal record and turn up naked for your job interview with a scrapbook full of nice newspaper clippings of all your favourite court appearances, and then finish up by slapping the police chief around the chops with your todger, and they'd still give you the job. Brilliant idea. Deputy Assistant Commissioner Stuart Cundy described Mitchell's actions as deplorable. This is the bit, I've told you this loads of times, this is the bit where they launch into a mad tirade of overly flowery language to disguise the fact that they let him in the first place and let him get away with it. I told, those of you that are relatively new have probably not heard the story, but essentially I was washing the dishes about 15 years ago when the first expenses scandal hit, and that was when I realised that's what they do. Because a politician appeared on the radio, and he didn't just say, politicians are usually very honest. He launched into a tirade that lasted for 2 minutes, where he was like, the real scandal of all this, the real shame, is that now it's ruined the excellent reputation that politicians have for honesty and decency and nobility and genuineness and goodness and morality and ethics and principles. And I've run out of words to use. That's what they do. When someone does a horrific crime, they don't just go, this was horrific, let's nail him to the wall. They go, oh my God, this was dastardly, this was horrific, this was appalling, this was mind-numbing. Give him a caution. That's what they do. It's painfully, nakedly obvious. And just watch for it. Spewing out a word salad to cover over the fact that they don't do anything. And they treat criminals, the worst type of scum, with kid gloves every time. Here we are, it continues. Truly shocking case, sickened, abhorrent, pain, bravery, brazen abuse of power, blah, 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 blah. Lop is ghoulies off. Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper, who has always advocated putting full-blown sex pests on nice little courses and then giving them jobs in the school libraries, what's she going to do about it? The fact that the police didn't know he had a non-molestation order out against him while he was serving officer shows total system failure. We need wholesale changes to vetting procedures. Words. Nothing but words, as usual. And there's about 10 kids who've got a severe limp as a result of it. I don't think I'd be interested in listening to Yvette Cooper soft on crime always. I don't think I'd be interested in listening to her if my 10-year-old daughter now had a gash like a burst mattress as a result of these useless, corrupt, woke politicians. That entire story is a disgrace. And this gentleman should be getting nailed to the wall. But that's just what I think. Why don't you tell me in the comments how much of a better person than me you are by lying about how much you care about women and girls? And then, the authorities promptly finding 3 teenage girls chained to the radiator in your basement in a couple of years' time. Do that, woke people. Tell me in the comments how much more noble you are, because people like you never get caught fingering the little girls outside the blind school, do you? You guys never do that. So tell me, come on, let me know what you think in the comments, alright? And for those of you that aren't woke, feel free to pitch in as well. All right? I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you all very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.